Hello and welcome back to the Pause podcast with me, Faye.
And me, Helen. You had a pause then and I was like, where are we going with this?
Well, you know.
Just grab a cuppa. We're going to dive right in. How's your week been, my love?
Very good. I was in Edinburgh.
Were you? How was Edinburgh? Cold and wet?
Yes. How did you guess?
Because isn't it always cold and wet in Edinburgh?
No.
I'm really sorry because anyone watching from Edinburgh or listening from Edinburgh is like, no, Helen, it is not.
I think they have spells of sun.
They do, yes. But lovely time?
Yes. It was obviously for work rather than pleasure. So it was a bit airport, office, airport, home. But it's lovely. I think Edinburgh is a very nice city.
Beautiful. And when we went to Edinburgh, we went to this really nice street. It's a really famous street and it's got loads of Edinburgh is really well known for like paintings and print.
Nice.
And we bought some really beautiful prints. My guess is you didn't go to that
Didn't go to that. I went to a Chinese restaurant though.
I love Chinese food. What did you eat? Talk to me about the food.
We had like lots of nice little dishes, which I do
enjoy. Like a Chinese tapas.
Yeah, kind of. A little bit of sweet and sour, classic. Some chow mein, some beef in oyster sauce. It was very nice. It wasn't particularly Scottish, but
okay.
It was a Chinese overlooking the castle.
Beautiful. And how many nights were you away for?
We were there 3 nights. I just love Scotland. I would happily move to Scotland.
Although this podcast would be quite hard to do in Scotland.
Oh gosh, midpoint would be like Manchester.
Yeah, because I'd happily move to Spain. So we'd be like Scotland and Spain.
Yeah, okay, let's not do that.
Let's not do that. Let's put our moving plans on hold.
Okay.
Because we've got some really important stuff to talk about.
I know, we're talking about period anxiety
Oh my
today.
God, I have such period anxiety.
Would you want to kick things off, Hels?
So I, as you know, started getting really heavy periods at the start of perimenopause for me. And I'm going to share a story. It's not nice. If you're squeamish, just fast forward for a minute. So
me personally? Or?
No. Well, you can't. You have to stay.
Okay,
anyone that's listening or watching.
Okay.
So I was at the hairdresser and I had my period and I flooded at the hairdresser and didn't realise until I was just there for hours. You know when you go in for a haircut and they're like, do you want me to colour your hair and be here 7 hours? And you're like, yeah, all right. Anyway, that's basically what happened. Aww. And I was walking to the car and I was like, oh God, what's that? And I realised that I'd flooded my jeans. So I got home, cleaned myself up, and then I had to phone up the hairdresser to say, I'm really sorry. I've realised my period flooded and it's probably on the chair. And I was mortified to do it, but I would have been more mortified not to say anything.
Yeah.
And I have to say, I only went back once and I just was so embarrassed. But let's face it, I know you've had tricky periods.
Yeah.
We've all had tricky periods. We've all been caught short with our period. And since being on the pill and then adding on HRT, I actually haven't bled for probably 18 months. Yet I still have moments where I'm like, oh my God, has my period started? Because we've all had that feeling, haven't we?
You had it the other day when we were recording.
Yeah, and I was like, I'm gonna have to put a sanitary towel on because I've got like period anxiety. And you were like, what's period anxiety? But it's that like worry of leaving a mark behind, going through my trousers, and it's not uncommon.
No,
it's something that happens to a lot of people, and I wonder whether this is why I wanted to do this topic, because I wonder whether we need to talk about it more to make it more normal.
Yeah.
And I remember it happening, and then like everything, I googled it to say, like awful period stories, and the awful period stories were just as bad as flooding at the hairdresser.
I think your hairdresser would have been like, no worries, love.
She was like, it's all cool.
Yeah.
I'll give it a really good I'll wash it down. Please don't worry. My panic was someone's going to walk in with white trousers, really unlikely, sit on my period blood and be like, why the hell?
There's been a murder.
Yeah, there's been a murder. Someone's dying. And I was really worried about it, but I was absolutely devastated and mortified. And
were you walking along a high street with like an arse covered in...
Well, I had a coat on and I had like a big pashmina thing.
Okay.
So actually, and it wasn't quite as bad as you would think. It was like underneath. So it's probably like between my legs
jeans
rather
cover
than...
a lot.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But I was more mortified that I had to phone up the hairdressers. And lots of my friends were like, why did you phone them up? And I'm like, because...
Oh, no, that was the right
thing
to do. Yeah.
Why wouldn't you phone them up?
Yeah.
Have you had any moments when you're like, what the hell is going on? There's been a murder. Some sort of tsunami.
More so when I was a teenager, actually, which I don't know if it's better or worse, but at the time it felt really bad. Because I remember once, actually, we were on holiday in Spain, me and my sister and my mum and dad, and I think I had endometriosis from a very early age. And I think I was about maybe 14 or 15, sat on the beach. I can even remember the swimsuit that I had on, because I didn't particularly like this swimsuit. But
no one really likes a swimsuit.
No, it was just a bit daggy. Do you remember that word?
Yeah.
And
that ages you.
Thank you.
Pleasure.
And it just came out of nowhere. And when you're on a beach in a swimsuit with limited like cover-up options, you can't put your coat on. And I had to like walk, like you can imagine the walk I was doing. And I had a pair of cut-off like white jean shorts. That was the only thing I had.
Worse.
And it was just deeply unpleasant, really. And I was not you're 14.
Not prepared mentally or emotionally.
No.
And also, embarrassment hits harder when you're younger, doesn't it?
Yeah, because you you go through that phase of you don't really know who you are and your position in life. You don't really know whether am I a cool person or I've never been a cool person, but
you're cool.
Thanks, Els. But like, which version of am I freaking out? And being a mother of a teenage girl now, it happens, and
it does.
It's so unpleasant. But there's no, it's not like, oh, that happened because you were unprepared.
Yeah,
you could have all the prep. You could carry a bag full of stuff, but unless you're walking around in a sanitary towel 24/7, it's going to happen.
Let's face it, isn't very good for your bottom anyway, because it needs to breathe, doesn't it? It needs fresh air. We've talked about this before, and I know that some of my period anxiety, I actually feel anxious for my girls as well. So I'm like, oh, have you got everything that you need? Oh, have you, are you fully prepared? Make sure that your bag's all like stocked up. But I think the great thing now is that there's period pants, isn't there? So actually you can wear period pants all the time if you want to. And you can even get period swimsuits now.
Apparently so.
I'm interested to know how they like hold it in. But then I think in water, don't you not bleed anyway? Is that
correct?
Is that right?
Yeah.
Why is that?
I don't know.
Some sort of vacuum sealing?
Let's go and ask the creator. Why did you pop that one in to the brief?
But thank you. I'll take it.
I'll take that.
I'll take it.
We'll take the rough with the smooth. Thanks
for
giving us periods.
We will. But at least we've got period swimsuits.
Well, I'll just stay in the sea.
Yeah, exactly. Don't move. Yeah, because it's like, what happens when you... Anyway.
Or stay in the swimming pool.
Yeah.
Mum, I'm just...
Yeah. I'm done. I think, isn't it hard? Like, let's say, pause is all about women and ailments and what we go through and the joys of being a woman. But let's face it, periods just aren't the most fun, are they?
They're utterly crap.
Have you ever tried a moon cup?
No.
What the hell is that about?
I was someone nearly very close to convincing me recently, because she spoke with such conviction about how life-changing it was and how easy it was. But I cannot get over the fact that that's a big chunk of plastic going in somewhere where no.
Well, I only actually started using tampons in my 40s.
What?
Yeah. I've always used towels until this is so bougie. I got a spa membership, and so I was going every week, and then I had to start using tampons. Such an oversharer. And so I only actually started using them in my 40s. And I think towels are cleaner. I think they're easier. Cleaner. Yeah. So a moon cup is like absolutely not going anywhere near me.
But that's the epitome of clean, is it not?
Apparently so.
Because it's a little cup, funnily enough.
But it's massive.
And then you just tip it down the toilet.
But what if you go to a toilet that doesn't have a sink? Like you've got to wash it surely after it's come out of you.
You tip it down the toilet.
Yeah, but then how do you wash it?
You have to rinse it off, and then you can sterilise it in the microwave.
Honestly, this is a whole world of wrong, in my opinion.
Maybe we shouldn't judge until we try.
No, and actually, I have watched...
Says she who took 40 years to use a tampon.
I don't know. I just didn't like the idea of it being a side of me.
Yeah, I suppose so. And do you not remember in the 90s all the sort of scare marketing?
Yeah.
It was a bit full on,
Deep
wasn't
vein
it?
thrombosis, wasn't it?
No. There's my brain can't remember the word, but there is
perimenopause.
There is a very serious condition that if you leave tampons in for too long,
yeah,
you can get
Yeah.
And it's really serious.
Yeah. In fact, I watched a podcast about it. Someone had lost limbs because...
Yes.
And I also listened to another...
But I think that is misuse. And like misuse anything.
And actually, I was listening to something with Rachel Hollis, who's like a wellness guru. And she had 2 tampons in at once. And one had been left.
I have done that.
Have you?
Only once. And I was mortified with myself.
How do they fit up there, Faye? Just keep popping them in.
Helen, how does a baby come out of there, love? I don't know.
I'm in denial. But I think period anxiety is a real thing. And I think as we progress into midlife, there's a really famous scene, isn't there, in Sex and the City, when I think Charlotte has some bleeding, which she didn't know it was going to happen. You know, it's like an accidental thing. Your body's like going through something. And, you know, part of perimenopause and menopause, you know, occasionally you get these bleeds. And I know my sister would be glad I'm telling you this, but she hasn't had periods for a really long time, and she just had a bleed, and it was really like, what the hell is this? And actually, it's no surprise that we all have a bit of period anxiety, because you're like, if you're, as you were saying, if you're not prepared, if you're not ready, it is a bit of a shock. And actually, because of where the blood is coming from, you don't always know that it's happening, do you?
Yeah.
To be honest, sitting on light covered chairs, like a light or a white coloured chair, total nightmare for me.
Are you anxious now?
I am a little bit anxious.
Are you like, am I manifesting
my period? If I stand up and there's a red patch, then we'll definitely put it on the podcast, because the thing is, we talk about normalising the normal. It happens.
Yeah.
It's not unusual. It's not uncommon. And actually, like, instead of being embarrassed about it, like, if it happened to me, you would rally, wouldn't you? Be like, right, Helen, how do we get you sorted?
Yeah, I would.
Let's, you know, like, we'll wipe up the chair, fret not, it's all going to be good. And it's like, actually, there's something wonderful about womanhood and being part of a sisterhood, isn't there?
Yes.
I know that if I'd been at the hairdresser when I'd got that phone call from me saying I might have put some period blood on the chair, I would be like, friend, have a cup of tea, grab a piece of chocolate, all is well, I'm going to tidy up the seat for you, it's going to be fine. And I think normalising that it sometimes happens, being a bit prepared in case it does happen, but also just being part of the movement of like, do you know what, we've all been there, I'll help you tidy it up. People can be quite squeamish about stuff, can't they?
Yes. Are women squeamish about periods?
I don't think so. If you had left some blood somewhere, I would just wipe it up, and like if you'd gone to the toilet and left some on the seat by accident, which is unlikely, in case you'd like, I don't know, sprinkled it, I would just wipe it up. Exactly. I'd wipe it up and think nothing of it. I wouldn't be like, Faye, you've left blood all over the toilet seat.
Yeah. And we must all do that all the time. Like, that's part of life, right?
It is part of life. But I wonder how you get past period anxiety. Because even now, 2 years later, when I'm not bleeding, I still get that like...
Yes, I saw that in you the other day.
Did you? Well, you told me to like suck it in, I think.
Did I tell you?
In a nice way. You were like, I feel like you need to get over this, which is why it's a topic today. I feel like this is like a therapy session, so I then don't have to worry about it. But I would never wear white trousers, ever.
I wouldn't wear white trousers mainly because I'm really clumsy and they would just look like rubbish all the time.
Exactly. You get chocolate milk down the side.
Now you've said it, I feel actually quite hot at the thought of like wearing white trousers and then there being an accident.
Yeah.
Have you ever been walking behind someone and been like, oh my God?
Do you know what? I haven't. But if I did, I would kind of like scurry up to them and say, I'm really sorry.
I think I would too. Unless they looked like they might deck me or something.
But even then I probably would, because I'm a good Samaritan. We've learnt this, haven't we?
Obviously you are.
I am eyes on any issue in the world and I'm going to fix it.
Yeah.
Or help support.
So are we going to try moon cups? You don't need to.
I'm not, but I also am aware that I have 2 teenage girls.
Yeah.
One of which is like your kids, super, super active, gymnastics, dance, like every day we're doing something. And there will be a time when she probably is going to have to do something like tampon, moon cup and whatever the next version of that is. And I'm going to have to support her in that.
Yeah.
I must admit, in my 40s, I watched a YouTube animation to work out how to do it.
And did you work out how to do it?
Well,
how do you do it then?
Oh no, a tampon, not a moon cup.
I did not know this about you.
Here to learn every day. Learning day.
I
still hate them, actually.
Do you not find that they're like sort of remove the issue from the immediacy?
No, because my periods were so heavy towards the end. I actually was wearing a tampon and a towel towards the end, and I was going through both.
Yeah.
I just think there's like a suction thing. When you take it out, I'm like, oh, my guts are going to come out.
Right. What are you like on roller coasters?
Oh, I hate roller coasters.
Yeah, it's all adding up now.
Well, and as you know, because you texted me the other day going, well, do you want to do this experience? And I was like, not really, because I get really travel sick.
I'm going to force you to do that thing.
I know you are going to force me to do it.
Very good.
Well, no, because I'm just going to cry the whole time and you'll be like, suck it up, Hopkins.
And we might have period anxiety.
Yeah, exactly. But what is nice is not having periods. And actually, because of my HRT and my pill, I have it less and less.
Yeah.
But I am still cautious and I'm still thoughtful about it. I brought a pad today just in case.
Oh.
But then I am quite an anxious person. So
yeah,
I think sometimes it's about managing the anxiety that you have. And by putting a towel on, if that means that I'm not anxious and here present in this conversation.
And you can sit on a beige chair.
And I can sit on a beige chair, then I think it's worth it, isn't it? But also I worry about the planet and pads, because surely they're not great for the planet, are they?
I think they're terrible for the planet.
Yeah.
Should we all just take a pill non-stop and not have them?
There's pros and cons to that though, isn't there? Like, I believe in Mother Nature and I believe that the cycle is really important. So actually not having a period, because it's like a cleansing thing, isn't it? It's like getting rid of your insides.
I'd love to know the science of that though.
Yeah.
Whether that's just us making that assumption that it's a natural thing.
Yeah.
You know, there's lots of natural things that come about but that are not good for you.
Would you take a pill not to have a period ever again?
I have just started.
You've just started the pop, haven't you?
Yeah, I've just started a progesterone only pill and I'm taking it back to back.
Me too, yeah.
But last week I had a period.
Did you?
Yeah.
Did it make you anxious?
No.
And were you were you at home and well prepared?
I was at home, but I did sort of go, what the hell is this?
I don't remember this.
What are you doing back in my life? I thought you were gone. And actually for me, because I've got endometriosis, it's really interesting because I would love to have that thought in my head. Oh, it's Mother Nature. It's a cleansing. It's a natural thing. When you've got endometriosis, every month you're just adding to the problem.
Yeah.
Because a tiny bit sticks behind, just adding to that problem.
And so with endometriosis then, does it impact your periods? Do you have heavier periods? Less frequent?
For me personally, yes. There is no rhyme or reason. Everyone has it in a different way.
Okay.
Mine predominantly has been, so endometriosis, for anyone who's not sure, is basically every month when you have your period, essentially like a bit stays behind. Like there's a it doesn't fully remove itself. So there's like a thickening. And mine, when it was really bad, which was my late 20s, mine had stuck my bowel and my bladder together and had just twisted it a little bit. So I was getting pain, which I thought was period pain. And actually it was because your organs are sort of weirdly sticking together and it's all a bit grim. Everyone has it in a different way. I've had like really big clotting moments, which is deeply unpleasant. But everyone, it takes hold on people in different ways.
And were your periods quite regular, even with the endometriosis?
Well, I think this is really interesting because as a kid, I started my periods when I was 11.
Gosh,
which is miserable, isn't it?
Yeah, I think I might have been 13, maybe.
Yeah, not nice. All the way through, really, really regular.
Mm-hmm.
And then I went on the pill, I don't know, at some point late teens, because the doctor said, like, this has got really bad.
Yeah.
And at the time, endometriosis was a thing, but nobody really knew what to do about it.
No.
So go on the pill. And then when I came off the pill, when I decided that I wanted to have kids, everything just vanished.
Really?
It was the weirdest thing, because the doctor had said to me, and I'd had multiple operations and laser treatment and what have you, but the doctor said to me, I'm concerned for your fertility. And I got married at 25 and I knew I wanted to have kids before I hit 30.
Okay.
That's always what I wanted to do because I had this question mark of fertility. And, you know, even women without endometriosis, it's a good idea to crack on with it, right? If body-wise. So came off the pill and it was like everything had disappeared. No period, nothing. And I was like, have I gone through menopause? Like in this time, has it just disappeared? So obviously trying to get pregnant without a period, without knowing when you're ovulating, I couldn't obsess about any of those. Quick, we need to do it
right now, go.
Because there wasn't anything. So my anxiety of, oh my God, was actually anxiety of where in the hell has it gone?
Yeah.
I was booked in for fertility treatment. This is with our oldest, and miraculously, the week before our appointment, I found out I was pregnant.
How wonderful.
So it's like
Harry's a miracle.
Some sort of immaculate conception on the basis that I must have ovulated once randomly in that whole period of time.
But how wonderful.
Yeah. But it just goes to show how, like, you know, it just becomes so ingrained in your head as a woman, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And for me, from the age of 11, I was counting dates in a diary.
Yeah.
That's a big chunk of my life has been taken up with that.
And also, were you quite an active kid?
Very active.
We were both like country kids, weren't we?
Yeah.
So like horse riding and all that kind of
I was a runner.
Were you?
Yeah.
And actually having your period impacts that, doesn't it?
Yeah. I used to run, I was racing most weekends. Me and my dad would run 2-3 times a week.
That's so lovely.
Yeah, we'd be out and about.
And a beautiful place to run.
Yeah.
Where you used to live.
Up Glastonbury Tor.
That's quite... You used to run up Glastonbury Tor?
Yeah.
Because I obviously don't live that far from Glastonbury.
Yeah.
And I get to the top and want to throw up.
I probably would if I didn't know.
Yeah. So what's your key takeaway then? In terms of... So if someone's at home and they're like, do you know what? Actually, I totally get this. I feel anxious about my period. They're getting heavier, all that jazz. What would be our advice for that person?
I think it's about adapting and being patient with yourself.
Yeah.
I also think we can learn anxiety from other people. So I think if you're around someone who is anxious...
Are you talking about me?
I no one in particular. But
Is this the last podcast we're ever going to do? Helen's anxiety has totally cut this short.
Rubbed off on me. But I think you can, right? If someone else is like, oh, I'm really worried about this thing. I think naturally you're like, maybe I should be worried about this thing. That's, again, a point of privilege to be able to say that when I'm actually not really that way inclined.
Yeah.
I think preparation, and also just as a human race, being really understanding about other people and their problem.
Yeah.
You know, I interviewed a girl once and your hairdressing story happened in an interview.
Oh my gosh.
And I remember like not 1 ounce of my brain. And I was interviewing with a colleague who was a man. And I know from that experience, neither one of us for 1% of a second was anything other than help a girl out.
Yeah.
And I think we have to believe that people are good.
Definitely.
On the whole.
Did she get the job?
Do you know, I don't remember that detail. Brain.
Yeah.
But we sorted it out.
But we love her. We're sending her love.
Yeah, sending you love wherever you are. How about you?
I think because I am quite a worryful person, as you know, and I think it's actually because I care deeply. My anxiety comes because I want to do a good job. I want to show up in the world as the person I want to be, like all of that vibe. It's because I care. That's where the anxiety comes from, is from a caring place. It's like I have a pad on hand just in case.
Yeah.
Because it just gives me a bit of a backup. I think about I think about things in advance. So I think for me, it's just about preparation, but also cutting yourself some slack. So big news, I'm not actually wearing a towel as we sit here on this beige seat, because sometimes, sometimes we need to put ourselves in uncomfortable situations to know that it's going to be okay. And we've talked about that previously, haven't we? Sometimes we need to go, do you know what? I'm just going to sit in this discomfort to feel that it's okay. And even if it's not okay, that's still okay.
Yeah.
And I think just a bit of kindness always. And just carry a spare pair of pants and leggings if you need to.
Amen.
Because, you know, I love a legging. I'm in a jean today, but I'll be back in the leggings in 5 minutes.
A black legging covers up most things.
Love a black legging. All about the black leggings.
Good.
Well, it's been gorgeous to hang out with you today.
Yes. Hopefully that's useful thoughtful.
Hopefully we haven't made you more anxious about something you were not anxious about to begin with. Maybe you've clicked on this and gone, I didn't know period anxiety was even a thing.
I wasn't anxious, but I am now.
But now I am. But we hope you'll tune in to our next episode.
We will be back next week. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and we'll see you then.
Brilliant. See you soon. Bye.
Bye. Coming up next week on the podcast, we are going to be talking about going grey.
Oh, I am so grey. I can't wait to talk about this because Faye pretends she's grey, but look at her hair. That's not dyed. That is au naturel.
Well, we'll find out.
We'll find out. But don't forget to tune in, like and subscribe to the channel, and make sure you leave a comment.